All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 101 of Six Figure Live. My name is Ben Hartley with Style and Story Creative and, of course, Six Figure Photography. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Let me pull up my phone here. We're going to be doing some Q&A. Here we go. We're going to be doing some Q&A today because I've missed far too many Fridays. And there's been a ton of questions that have come through that I want to make sure that that I don't get backed up too much. And so let me go ahead. I'm going to pull up my phone here so I can see more questions come through live. In the meantime, as I'm doing this, you guys, thank you so much for joining. We are 101 episodes in, and today we're going to do some Q&A. Here's the deal. The entire purpose of Six Figure Live is really just to get you guys inside my head, to bring you behind the scenes at Style and Story Creative. For me to give you a little inspiration, a little direction for what we're up to here on the daily. So where we are running a wedding photography studio here. And so anything that I can do to help you guys, I want to be able to do. One of the things I love about live is I get a chance to actually field real-time questions for you guys. I get a chance to interact with you guys. It's just really incredible. And I love how candid it is. I say some crazy shit on this show, things that I probably would never say if I actually had a couple moments to think. But that's the joy of live. And so here's what happens. I get a chance to connect with you guys, to email, to ask you questions all the time. One of the main questions that I'm always asking you guys is what's one of your biggest struggles? And rather than me just simply replying to you in an email with my response to your biggest struggle, I'd much rather address it, put it out there anonymously, but get a chance to address it for everyone. Because the reality is, if you're having that question, then I guarantee you that there are a ton of other photographers who are having the same question, the same challenge, the same struggle, and I want to help everyone out. And so that's really where Q&A came from, is really getting the chance to answer what are your top struggles. So I've got a ton that have already come through. Come on, phone, why are you not working? So I've got a ton that have already come through, but I also want to get a chance to field some live ones as well. So let me go ahead, get this pulled up, and we will jump right in. And I got it now. Okay, cool. Ben Adams is watching. Okay, sweet. So we're going to jump right in. Before we do this real quick, you guys, make sure we are doing a big giveaway. Look, we are 100 episodes in, and on top of that, I'm having twins. On top of that, it was just my birthday, so I figured, what the hell, we're going to do a big giveaway. And so we're going to be giving away some of the products that I have for you guys. One of them is called Sold, the Ultimate Guide to Pricing Your Wedding Photography. It's freaking incredible. When we actually sell that, by the way, it has a $1,000 guarantee. If anybody goes through that and they don't make $1,000 immediately, pretty much, then you're doing something wrong. But I'll also give you a full refund. But that's here nor there, because I'm just giving it away this time. I'm giving away that, presets, an advanced Lightroom editing course. And so there'll be a link below. So make sure you get on that as well. There's going to be a top prize too for whoever does the most referrals, gets the most referrals. And so you get one vote or one entry for just filling it out. But if you get a referral, you'll get 10 entries for every referral that you get. I had some people who had emailed me some questions about that, by the way. Just sharing it alone doesn't necessarily guarantee a referral. It has to be someone else has actually gone through and entered the contest through your link. That actually will get you the referral. Someone actually has to take action. So anyhow, I'll make sure to drop that below. Please get on it. We're going to be making the announcement of who will be winning next Friday. And it's dope. It's free stuff. So anyhow, Jalen Brown's in the house. Who else is here? You guys, give me some thumbs up. Leave a couple comments here. The way this works with Q&A Thursday today is you guys are going to ask questions, and I've got answers for you guys. At the very least, I got a lot of opinions, and so we'll start with those, all right? Here's the deal. I'm in the middle of this with you guys, but I'll tell you what, we're winning. And I say that with pride, and I also say that with humility, because it takes constant work. We are at this every single day, but we're winning. Like, when I say that, I want you to know that we're an active studio. I'm not just an educator. I'll be speaking all over the place, but I'm not just an educator. We are actually running a studio. I'm actually shooting weddings full time, and we're winning. And so what's winning? Winning is this. Winning is I'm happy. Winning is we get to take off every Friday. We get to hang out with our family members. I get to go home at 4:30 every day. Winning is booking weddings in the $8,000 to $10,000 range. Winning is already being booked 40 weddings for next year. So I'm saying all this because I would like to think that the year's experience that we have, I've got a lot of great ideas for you guys. I got a lot of very practical ideas for you guys, and I want to come alongside you with this information and just get it to you as best as I can. And at the same time, I'm going to keep learning and I'm going to keep moving forward. As I talk about learning, by the way, you guys, we are signed up for a bridal show we'll be doing in 2 weeks. One of the main reasons we're doing this show is purely for education purposes for you guys. I want to research. I want to learn. I want to test. I want to see if some of these ideas that I have for this bridal show are going to play out, and I want to get you that information. And so we're going to continue to learn. I'm going to continue to test. I'm going to continue to keep giving away to you guys. Okay, so here we go. Let's jump in. Let me pull up some of these very first questions. Where do I got these things at? As questions come in, please go ahead and say hi. Leave some comments below. Leave some of your own questions, and we're going to rock this thing. Well, goodness, we'll just jump right into it. Tania and James and Rebecca, they all wrote to me, and they all said one of their number one struggles is getting clients. It's incoming traffic. It's finding leads. It's all this stuff. So, shit, I mean, there's a billion and one ways to get clients. And so... on that note, I am currently working on an entire video series on the exact steps that we take to get clients. Should be done in the next couple weeks. But man, I think getting clients, this actually has a lot to do with another question that gets asked. How do I get clients? How do I raise my prices? How do I charge more? How do I charge $5,000 for a wedding? How do I book up my calendar? How do I go full time? A lot of this comes back to we're always starting with me, and how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I get more people to care? How do I get more people to spend more money? And it has to go back to you because you've got to provide more value. I mean, it's really the number one thing. It's a lot of people will say, by the way, in order to get more clients, it's all about word of mouth. Literally, actually, I think probably right now, if you were to hop into a Facebook group for photographers, a shoot and share group or whatever, and say like, how is everyone getting their wedding photography clients? I bet 90% of the people are going to hop on there and they're going to say, word of mouth, Ben, word of mouth, word of mouth. Well, that's bullshit. Like, what if I told you, what if you bought a course from me that was like how to book clients, and all I said was, it's all about word of mouth. Word of mouth is the number one way to get clients. Word of mouth. Here's the problem. This is why it's bullshit. It's because it's not. You can't just say word of mouth. See, when people say word of mouth is the way to get clients, a lot of times it's assumed that word of mouth is this 100% passive process that like you just kind of. It just happens. Like word of mouth, you're just in business long enough that people start talking and then it just happens. And it doesn't just happen, right? It has to start somewhere else. And that's value-driven growth. And I could talk a hell of a lot about value-driven growth. But one of the first things that you need to understand is this. You got to provide value, but man, you got to take it. Like you have to take it. If you want clients, go and take those clients. Like one of the girls asked, she's like, one of my biggest struggles is I'm struggling with getting clients, but maybe I'm just struggling with being patient. I want to challenge you and say, don't wait. Don't wait for clients. Go get them. And so like pick up the damn phone, start calling people. When a lead hits your inbox, don't email them back. Don't sit on it. Like actually go and call that person and talk to them and understand what it is that they want. Understand what your clients need. Man, if we could start going down a whole other list of ways that you could actually go about getting clients. One of the first things that so many photographers don't do is you don't even track your numbers. And this isn't like some sexy answer to getting clients, but it's a really important one. If you want to actually get more clients, you should track your numbers. the only way to make things real, you can't just be like, yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire someday. No, you won't. Like, unless you actually have a plan. You need to have a plan. You need to know your numbers. You need to know actually how you're going to do it. If you wanted to say, I want to attract more clients, that's not enough. That's not good enough. You need to understand how many clients at what average price point, right? And so one of the first things that you should be doing is tracking the way that clients are actually leads are finding you. And so making sure that in your contact form, you're asking people, how did you find me? Understand where your leads are coming from so you can understand how to get more of them. Track your numbers. It's not sexy, but it's important. Another thing that you could be doing, I talk a lot about albums. You guys, album sales, it's not just about money. It's not just about sales. And it's also not just about like getting your really great product in your client's hands. But you guys, when you start implementing albums, when you start making sure that every single client has an album, that means that every single client has a marketing piece for you. That means that next year's referrals are going to go way up. That means next year's leads are going to go way up, because sitting inside of every single client's home is a direct collateral piece that's talking all about how amazing your work is. And they're showing it to everyone, by the way. Make sure albums are in every single client's hands. You can do a referral program. Look, there's Facebook leads. Dude, same-day slideshow. This is what I mean. Like, so many people, they just want to be patient and they just want to wait for clients to show up. No, effing go take them. Go get them. Start doing same-day slideshows. Start hustling. Start going to every single table at the next reception that you're a part of. And rather than just taking the awkward pictures of all the guests at the tables, make ahead of time on little shitty pieces of cardboard, Vistaprint, aka. Make your client's gallery ahead of time on Pixieset. Put the link on the back of that card, and then put on the other side of it, by the way, a link where the website will be. It currently doesn't exist, but that's where you upload the pictures. That's where they will be. So put the client gallery there on one side. On the flip side, put a picture of the actual bride and groom, a customized picture, one that you took probably for an engagement pictures. And then when you go around to every single table, right, all the guests are there, and you take all their pictures, hand them out and say, like, hey, if you want to get this picture of you guys, all of your friends, all the guests here, as well as see all the others, hop over to this website and take a look at those. Not only are you going to get more referrals that way, you're also going to get more print sales that way. Holy giveaway, competitions, vouchers, print. I mean, there's so many things you could be doing. But I guess it's like you got to go and take them. You got to actually go show up. Okay, cool. I'm going to hop back in here. And let's see what people are saying here. Mackenzie, Q&A question to put on the list. I'm working on a client guide for next year that explains what information I'll need and what I need from them. Timelines, music choices, family names, et cetera, and delivery system. Any tips? That's awesome. I love that you're doing that. Good job. Any tips? Yeah, this will be like a random tip. Here's a tip. Ask them their first dance song and on that questionnaire, and then when the client comes in for the in-person presentation of their images, you'll have a slideshow prepared for them that's set to their first dance song, because you know what it is because you asked them in this questionnaire. So do that. That's a good one. It's a good little pro tip there. Anyhow, yeah, I don't know. It's great. I love it. You're doing it. No other major tips. Susan's here. Susan says, I love getting to hear you speak. So much passion. Thanks, girl. Appreciate it. Mackenzie says, that's a great idea. I've been wondering how to get in front of guests more when I do photos. Awesome. You guys, I've got so many ideas on actually like tactics of how to get clients, but I can't go back to this enough. Value-driven growth. You actually have to give a damn about people. Like, you have to give a damn about people. You have to understand where your passion lies. And if your passion is in what you do and how you do it, meaning this, my passion is in what I do. I take photographs. I'm a shoot and burn photographer. I'll show up, I'll take your pictures, and I'll give you a disc. I might just be passionate about what I do. If I'm always talking about my lighting setups, look, I'm a natural light photographer. I only shoot natural light. You might just be passionate about how you do what you do. But none of that matters, because people don't buy off of what and how. What and how are rational triggers. Do you guys understand that? What and how are rational triggers. People buy from their heart. People buy because they trust other people. People buy because of emotion. They buy because of intrinsic value. And so gosh, I could give you every trick in the book, but if your North Star is not aligned, right? If your blueprint isn't laid, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is the problem is in the photography industry and really in every industry, everyone wants to know, they want to know the little tactics and the tricks and the scripts. And if I just do this thing or that thing, how am I going to win? Well, you have to have more than just a tactic and a trick, right? It's like building a house without a blueprint. You're just driving nails into wood, right? So please understand this. People are always more important. People are always more important. And until you get your head around that and you start implementing that into every step that you take with your leads, you'll fail. Okay, sorry, I'm going hard. Let's keep going. Nate Cooper's in the house. Joshua says this, what do you use for slideshows? Animoto, by the way, I love your podcast and your passion. Joshua, thanks. I really appreciate it, my man. By the way, you guys, I'm so motivated by gratitude. And so thank you. Thank you so much for showing up and saying thank you. It means the world to me. It really does. Yeah, Joshua, I use Animoto. Animoto is a great tool. One of the things I like about Animoto, you could use any number of slideshow apps. It just has a little bit more production value. There's like a little bit more like stuff going on in Animoto's like transitions that I like. I don't use any of their weird gaudy stuff. I just do like the Animoto classic. And candidly, I use the free one. Yeah, there's a logo at the end, but I don't care. Okay, cool. Let's keep going, you guys. Where'd all my questions go? All right. Here we go. Next up, there was a number of questions about confidence. Jamie said this, I lack the confidence. I see that everyone can pick up a camera and they can shoot, and boy, do they. What separates me from everybody else? Bree said it this way. She says, I feel like my work is not good enough. Steven said this about confidence. He said, look, my competition is better than me. Why would someone hire me when there are so many other photographers who are better than me? So that's I was like, man, where do I go with this? Look, here's the deal. Let's start with you, Steven. There's photographers who are better than me too. Do you get that? There's so many people that are better than me. There really are. But you know what they're not? They're not motherfucking Ben Hartley, right? Steven, they're not you. Bree, they're not Bree. Jamie, they are not you. Look at anyone. You're right. Anyone, any schmuck can pick up a camera. Do you get this? Anyone can pick up a camera, especially like the barrier to entry is, if this is bugging you now, wait till next year, wait till 2 years, 3 years. The barrier to entry to photography and every industry pretty much keeps getting lower and lower and lower. The things that your iPhone 7 can do, I mean, Jesus, imagine what the iPhone 8 is going to be able to do. You guys, it keeps getting lower and lower, and more people are going to be showing up and picking up cameras. But there's two things that separate you. There's two things, you guys. Again, you are you. People are hiring you because you're you. So like on your about page, stop talking about the gear that you have, whether you shoot on Nikon or Canon, right? Like stop talking about the fact that you love photography and you're just so passionate about photography and you love showing up about and capturing love stories. Like no one cares. Of course you do. That's like barrier to entry. That's nothing, right? Everyone does. Start talking about what makes you, your meaningful difference, the little things about you that are unique. That's what someone's going to actually hire you for, is because you're you, and no one can compete with that shit, man. Steven, like, you are the only Steven, I don't know, I'm not going to say your last name here, right? And you've been uniquely made to do great things, and you need to figure out how can you separate yourself, understanding who you are and what makes you work, right? And stop thinking about all of the extrinsic value. Once again, this Bree says this, I always feel like my work isn't good enough. It's probably not. And you know what? It probably won't ever be. But don't view that as a negative thing. View that as a great human condition. Look, the human condition that says, man, I'm flawed and I'm not good enough, don't view that as a negative. View that as a positive. View that, like the very fact that you think that means you're striving to get better. Keep striving to get better at every single thing that you do. Don't view viewing your work as like, look, I don't think my work's good enough. What artist does, right? Understand that. Understand it's just part of being human, that we're always trying to get better, right? But also get outside of the whole extrinsic value thing. Stop focusing on what you do and how you do it. And for once, start thinking about your client. Stop thinking about these awesome, huge, epic shots with the great off-camera flash and these like crazy, scenarios and shooting in fucking Iceland, right? And start thinking about what actually does your client actually care about. What makes them tick? Who do they love? Why do they love that person? And when they tell you why, don't take it at face value. Keep digging. When I ask a bride, what do you love about your groom? And she said, man, he's just a great dude. Bullshit. What does that mean? He's just a great dude. And this is the stuff that your clients say. They say these very general statements. Man, what's not to love about him? He's such a great guy. Learn this statement. I learned this from Steve Zapparito. Learn this statement. What does that mean to you? You just said he's such a great guy. What does that mean to you? Start caring about what your clients care about. And man, they're going to tell you exactly what they want. You're going to learn exactly the type of images that they want. And you're going to stop fretting and stop worrying about and stop obsessing over the technique, over the technical, right? And you're going to start actually understanding that what your clients actually care about is what matters. That's how you get booked too, by the way. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Susan says this, can you just start motivational talks? Okay, thanks. I'd like to think that it just kind of happens as I go. All right, let's keep going here, you guys. Okay, here we go. This came from 3 people, Stephanie, Jessica, Sarah, all 3 different emails that I received, but all very similar in tone. Look, I'm just starting out. I've just moved to a new area. I don't have any work to show. How do I begin? How do I begin if I've just moved to a brand new city and I don't know anybody? How do I begin as a photographer if I'm just starting out and I don't know jack? I don't have any clients. I don't have any paid work. How do I start out if I have a portfolio of 0 images? Sarah, Jessica, Stephanie, thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and expressing the struggles that you're having. Can I tell you what I did? Let me tell you what I did. That sounds like a good move. So we started our company, Ben and Less Photography. We were out of Bowling Green, Ohio. Then we moved 2 hours away to a new city that I never photographed a wedding in. I didn't really have any friends here. I think I knew one person, Chris Helgeson, one of my good friends, shooting his wedding this year. Anyhow, I think I only knew Chris Helgeson, my buddy here in town. And we showed up on the scene, and we didn't have any clients here. All of our clients were back in Bowling Green, and so it was really frustrating because our first year in Columbus, Ohio, we were still booking back in our other location. And so one of the very first things that I did was I didn't just wait. Going back to the whole patient thing. Yes, be patient, but also go get it. Go step up and take it. And so I set to researching the top vendor in every category that existed here in Columbus. And so the top wedding planner, the top cake artist, the top florist, the top 3 venues, the top videographer. I went down and I literally researched, and I spent probably a week researching who are the best of the best of the best. And I spent time doing that, and then I actually called them up and I literally told them that. I said, look, hey, my name's Ben Hartley. You don't know me, but I just spent a week researching who is the best damn florist in this whole city. And by far you are. And the reality is we're going to end up working together because I'm the best damn photographer. We're going to end up working together. Can I take you out to lunch? I want to learn more about your process. I want to learn more about your couples. I want to learn more about your clients. I want to learn more about how I can better serve your brides. I want to learn as a photographer, how do I better serve the florist? Because everyone's worried about serving the bride, and everyone's worried about serving the venue, and everyone's worried about serving the wedding planner. How can I, as a photographer, better serve you as a florist? Let's brainstorm together. Let's get, can we talk? That's what I did. I went down the list and I talked to every single person, and I assembled my own dream team, and that's all it took, really. I mean, that's it. And look, if you're sitting there wondering, yeah, but everyone else is doing that same thing. Everyone else, all the other photographers who are just starting out, they're all contacting the wedding planners, and they're all contacting the venues, and it's just a shit show, and there's no way that I'm going to be able to stand out. If that's how you feel, you can do things. You can do things that stand out. It's called bulk mail. Before picking up the phone, literally mail them a package, a dope ass bulk package. This is an old school marketing tactic, but put some shit in a box and then just mail it to them, right? And I'm not even kidding you. Like, if you know this wedding planner's got like 2 other girls, like put some cupcakes in a box and mail it to them with a little handwritten note that says like, hey, my name's Ben Hartley. I'm super excited to work with you this year. I'll give you a call later this week. Enjoy these cupcakes. Cheers. They're going to be like, I don't know who this guy is, but I'm really excited to talk to him. And when you pick up the phone and you call them, you won't be a stranger. You guys get this? Stop being strangers, right? Stop cold calling people. Don't be a neighbor. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. All right, cool. Jamie, what's up? Jamie's in the house. Jamie says this: where did you get that sweet vest, my dude? See you in San Antonio. This vest, I'm pretty sure my gorgeous wife got this for me. Dude, so you're going to be in imaging. I'm super, super stoked, dude. If you guys don't know Dark Rue, I've talked a little bit about Dark Rue here or there. Like, just stop what you're doing right now and go look up Dark Rue. Jamie and Heather of Dark Rue are just incredible at what they do. So anyhow, take a look. Ben, you're a Jedi Master. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Okay, let's keep going. More questions. Cassie says this: I want top-of-the-line gear, but I can't get top-of-the-line gear without getting clients, but I can't get clients without getting top-of-the-line gear. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? She says it's a never-ending cycle. Hey, Cassie, you're wrong. That's some bullshit right there. Look, you're just wrong. I'm so sorry. But you're wrong. Look, 2 reasons why you're wrong. I understand that you want top-of-the-line gear, and I understand that in order to get it, you need paying clients, and you can't get paying clients, or you say you can't without getting top-of-the-line gear. But that's wrong. It's wrong for 2 reasons. Number 1 is there's this fantastic, shitty little lens. It costs $500. It's the 50 millimeter 1.4. You could even go get the 50 millimeter 1.8 for like $180 if you want. But just start with that. Literally, just start with the 51.4. And I promise you're going to be able to make, if you got drive, if you got passion, if you know what the hell you're doing, you're going to be able to make great work. I can't, there's this big misconception that says I need to get a ton of stuff in order to make great work and in order to get clients. And it's just not true. You can make really great work with a crummy 50 millimeter 1.4, $400 something lens. Again, just go and get the 1.8 and save yourself $300 and just start with that. Start with it and book a gig and then take 90% of the profit from that gig and go and invest and get something nicer, or 50% of the profit, whatever you can afford. The next thing is rent. Look, when I started out with my business, I didn't take out a single loan for photography. I didn't take out a single loan. I started with a real crappy Tamron 24 to 70. It was a 28 to 75. It wasn't even 24 to 70. It's a 28 to 75 millimeter f2.8 lens. And it was like their crappy version 1. And that's what I started with. And I shot with that. I shot with it until I could get someone to pay me $300. And then I took that $150 and I invested it back in, and I rented the next time I rented a 50. You're like, just keep investing back in. But also rent. Man, you just got to rent sometimes. That's okay. And you don't need a ton of stuff. All right, let's keep going. Cole says this: what's an example of you using bulk lump mail to get attention of someone? What's an example of using bulk/lumpy mail to get the attention of someone you wanted? Great question, Cole. Let me think about that for a little bit. Well, there's been a number of situations. For starters, let's talk about commercial videography, right? So a lot of you know I'm a photographer. We also do some commercial video work. And so we have a company called Wolf Street that does commercial video. And commercial's a whole other ballgame. If you want to try to get the attention of someone, you guys are complaining when you're trying to get the attention of like a single small company. But a lot of times with like big commercial companies, it's really hard to kind of break through the fluff. And so we created these boxes that just would show up. They're bright red cardboard boxes with our logo on the front. And you'd open it up, and inside there was a guide. There was a credit card that had our portfolio on it. And in the guide, it was just like a quick, it was like a perfect bound, 10-page thing of just stories of how video is important and why it's important in 2017. Not just why is it important, but why is it the most important way of communicating your brand to your target audience. Anyhow, so that was one of the things that we did, and so sent that around to a bunch of places, and then followed up with calls afterwards, right? Other things. Let me think of a couple other things. You know what? Actually, Fundy. Fundy is a company that I love, and was a company that I was really trying to get the attention of for a while. And I met them at a conference, just at a trade show kind of a situation. And so I met them there. I learned that the owner, Andrew, really liked beer. And so then I went and I bought a home brewing beer kit, and I had it just dropped off at his house. Literally a home brewing beer kit, and I had it dropped off at his house. And then the next time I called, I wasn't a stranger. So that's another great example of doing that. On that note too, after attending a conference, I attended Mystic last year, got a chance to meet a lot of really great speakers. There was one in particular that I just really valued. I really appreciated them. And so I sent him a bottle of one of my favorite bourbons. That was another great kind of thing. And then, again, you're just not a stranger, right? So, okay, cool. Let's keep going. Charging. Jennifer and Amanda both emailed me, and they said that their biggest struggle right now is knowing how much to charge. I think this is a question that Loftifers have because we're creatives and we just don't know shit. We just like to make things. And so, look, in order to know what to charge, you have to start somewhere. And my encouragement for you would be to start with, what do you need to make? Not just what do you need to make to like get by, to pay the bills, right? But what do you need to make in order to like to understand your costs, right? To pay for all your costs of personal costs, but also all of your business costs. But what do you need to make in order to like to go and enjoy like a pizza like once a week and not freak out? What do you need to make in order to set aside retirement? What do you need to make to set aside money for your kids? And not just knowing your expenses, but literally, what do you need to make to enjoy life? And I think that's one of the number one questions. You got to start with that. If you're going to ask how much to charge, you can't just look at your competition. You can't just start throwing numbers on a dartboard and hoping it works out at the end of the year. You have to understand what you need to charge, and so you have to understand what you need to actually make. So I made a calculator for this, by the way. It's not like the end all be all, but man, this is going to be a really damn good start for you. If you're wanting to go full time, if you're sitting here at a day job and you're trying to figure out, what do I need to make in order to go full time? How many weddings do I need to shoot? At what cost? I put together a calculator, and I'll drop that below for you guys. It's free. It's just like a calculator that will help you to figure out what you need to charge and how many weddings you need to shoot in order to go full time. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. This was I got this one. This was a good one. Okay, so this came from Lauren. Lauren says this: I'm always hearing this from my clients. They say this. They say, Lauren, I love your work. It's so great. Your work's so great, Lauren. But then either A, they don't buy, or B, they buy the least expensive package, like the bottom of their rail package, and they never want prints. What do I do? So look, if people aren't buying, right? If you're meeting with clients, you're getting leads in the door, you're meeting with them, you're going through the whole process. If they're not buying, there's one of two problems that are occurring. Either A, it's their fault. Meaning this, they just don't have the money, right? Either A, it's their fault. They don't have the money. They can't afford you. They just literally can't afford you. Or B, it's your fault. And what I mean is this: if it's your fault, that means that they don't see it as worth the amount of money that you're charging. They don't see your value as worth the amount of money that you're charging. So it's either A, their fault, they just can't afford it, or B, it's your fault because you're not showing up with enough value. Okay? And so you have to evaluate that. If it's their fault, then man, it's just their fault. That might be an ideal client situation game. You might need to start to figure out if you're targeting the right people. But man, if it's your fault, then either, my guess is it's not that you're not providing a value. It's not that you're not communicating your value effectively, is my guess. And so if you're hearing people say, I love your work, and then they're not buying, there's a value exchange problem going on, and you're not effectively communicating what it is that you offer to the point where they're just not buying. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Hey, this is a different Lauren, but another Lauren emailed, and she said one of her biggest struggles is this. I'm an introvert. This was funny. She says, I'm an introvert. What marketing strategies do you have for me as an introvert? Okay, so I don't. Look, there's no like the magical marketing strategies for introverts book. Like marketing's marketing. Do you know why? Because the market is the market is the market. Do you get that? Look, I guess that like you may have an ideal bride that might also be an introvert with you, and you guys can both be introverted together, and maybe they relate to you in some way. But look, the market's the market. And so I'm not asking you don't have to be an extrovert. I'm not saying go be an extrovert, but I'm saying you do have to communicate. Do you get that? And if you're an entrepreneur, if you are a solopreneur, you have two options. Either A is level up your game and communicate, or find someone to partner with that can be that extroverted presence for you. But look, you don't have to be an extrovert. You just have to communicate. So even as an introvert, you have to communicate your offer to your client. You have to be willing to do that. Like there's no other option. I wish I had an option for you, but the market's the market, right? You have to communicate. And that means you're going to have to pick up the damn phone. Like you have to pick up the phone and actually start calling your clients and start caring about your clients, even as an introvert. And so I'm not saying to not be scared while doing it. Be scared shitless, but then do it anyhow, right? That's what I'm saying. Okay. I just went hard on Emily for a second there. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Joshua says this: value building strategies, ! Value building strategies. Like I could talk for a whole hour. I think you might be able to find, they may have already taken it down. I do an entire presentation on value driven growth. I'm going to be talking a lot about value driven growth at Mystic. And I'm going to record that talk, and maybe we'll get a chance to put it out there to the world somehow. But I've got an entire hour-long presentation on value-driven growth. But Joshua, man, I've said this so many times. Step one, if you want to actually convey value, then pick up the phone and actually start caring about your clients. Pick up the phone, man. Start putting people before photography. Let's keep going. Posing for authentic moments. Emily says this: I'm struggling with posing for authentic moments. Emily, one of my best pieces of advice for posing authentically is this: the easiest part of photography, the easiest part of your day should be knowing your gear. If you want to get better at posing authentically, then know your gear like the back of your hand. When you step into a shooting situation with a client, the absolute last thing that you should be thinking about is your gear, and that's going to make authentic posing be able to be at a priority. If you're always thinking about your gear, and if you're always thinking about your lenses and your lighting setups and what you're going to shoot with and what aperture and all that kind of stuff, you're not going to be able to you're not going to have the mental capacity to think about authentic moments, right? And so that's my advice. My advice is this: understand your gear like the back of your hand. Know it so damn well that when you step in front of a client, you get to focus 100% of your energy on their heart. You get to focus 100% of your heart with them and who they're with, and having a really genuine time. And that's where authenticity gets to happen. And so that would be my tip there. Mackenzie says this. I've got a short answer for you, Mackenzie. Mackenzie's biggest struggle is she worries about making sure that taxes and paperwork are run properly and efficiently. Mackenzie, you shouldn't be working about taxes and paperwork. You should hire an accountant. That's my answer. I don't care what stage you're at. If you're making money, then you should be hiring an accountant. Look, my first year of business, I did not hire an accountant. Okay? It was so stressful. You guys, it was so stressful because I was in the exact same situation as you. I was worried about, did I do my taxes right? I was worried about, did I file my paperwork correctly? I was so stressed out from the process. And then the next year I just hired someone. You guys, it cost me more money than if I would have just hired them in the first place. It cost me more money to have the accountant go back the year that I did it on my own to fix all the crap that I did wrong than it would have cost if I would have just hired someone to do it right in the first place. Okay. And so, look, go hire an accountant. Like don't run your taxes, right? Don't try to be filing all your paperwork. That is, if you're making money, then don't do it. Okay, cool. Speed lights. Whew. We're all over the place on today's Q&A. Speed lights. Jessica and Scott both have questions about speed lights, indoor portraits. I've spoken about this a few times in the past, but we'll go over it one more time. When dealing with off-camera lighting, my best advice is for you to do this, to start by turning your off-camera light off. Start with it off. you have to resolve for 2 exposures when dealing with off-camera lighting. And so a lot of people want to turn the flash on, put it on the camera, drop it on TTL, and just like start firing and messing with shit. And then you get confused. So turn your light off. You have 2 exposures to resolve for. You have your flash, and then you have the ambient light in the room, the ambient light, anything that's currently on constant lighting. Okay, that's constant lighting that you can't directly control on your camera. And then worry about your ambient light first. My advice is this: start with the shutter speed of, let's go 160. Let's say 160 on your shutter speed, because most cameras have a maximum sync speed with flash of about 200. Some of them it's 180. So start at 160 on your shutter speed. Set your aperture to the desired look that you want. If you want a really shallow depth of field kind of image, then go to 1.2. If you can go that low, 2.8, whatever you want. Understand what you want with that. So you're at 160, let's say 2.8, and then turn your ISO up until your ambient light is at the desired look that you've pre-visualized. And so if you want a really dramatic flash kind of looking shot where the background's going real dark and you're gonna have deep shadows, then underexpose 2 stops, right? But if you want to balance that ambient light to be less contrasty with the flash, then maybe only underexpose a half stop, right? And so pull your ambient light up until it's underexposed a half stop with your ISO. Then and only then do you turn your flash on. Start it out on manual at about 1/32 power. And then with your flash on, you take a picture. And your flash, you could be bouncing off a subject. You could be with a softbox. I don't care. We're not going to get into that. Have your flash hit your subject, and then just look at it. And if they're overexposed, dial it down. Go to 1/64, 1/128 power. If it's too dim, then turn it up 1/16, 1/8. And then once your subject is filled in appropriately with the flash, then just go to town and shoot away. Okay, cool. Chalon has one more question here. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 big questions. Chalon has a live question here. Even if I care about someone, I tend to really blank on questions when I'm talking to them on the phone. I don't have this problem in person, but for some reason the phone is my weakness. Any tips for calming your nerves while trying to dig deep to get to know your clients over the phone? Let's start with that. Practice. I don't know how to just say it. I mean, it's something that you just have to practice with. This is one of the reasons why, if you don't have any leads, if you don't have bookings for next year, if you're struggling to get bookings, then don't even put your starting price on your website. It means that you're going to get a bunch of people who are going to contact you, and they're not going to be able to afford you. But look, you need practice. Let's just be real. You need practice. You need to be calling every single person that you get a chance to call, and practice communicating with them, practice caring about them, practice asking them questions, practice talking about what it is that you have to provide to them as value. And so that's my advice. Is it's something that takes real practice, and it's a bummer. I mean, we're at a day and age where it's not just a problem in our industry about being on the phone, but just a very real problem that we have as a society at large that says that it's okay to deal with things that require far greater personal finesse. Deal with things through text and through email that require far greater personal finesse, like just picking up the damn phone. The amount of times that I have friends and family members who are trying to resolve some real deep shit conflict through a text message, I just want to punch them in the neck. And so I just, like, people don't know how to talk on the phone anymore. We don't know how to talk with people. And so you got to practice it, man. Just pick up the phone, practice it. So there you go. That's my advice to you. Here's another thought too. Just learn to dig deeper. Learn to keep asking why. When they tell you something, ask them a further question and dig deeper about something that they've already addressed. And so, essentially say why in your mind as they're talking about, like, yeah, so we're thinking about having our wedding at the Museum of Art. Just think about why. Like, why are you having it at the Museum of Art? So ask them, literally, why are you having it at the Museum of Art? Does the Museum of Art mean anything to you? And see what they say. And maybe it doesn't. But just start, like, I think my best advice is just be genuine and, like, be genuinely interested. Be curious. There's a great word. Be curious. Be curious about people. Really ask these questions because you want to know the answer. Okay, cool. Awesome. drop that down there for you guys. I've got a 2-step process for making your Flash work for you guys. I just put a link down there for you guys so I don't have to explain it every time. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out. My goodness. Make sure you go over, hop in, and join the contest. There's a free giveaway, 650 some bucks worth of stuff for you guys. It's some really good stuff, man. So go check that out. And tomorrow is Friday. I'm going to be traveling up north to see some family up north. And so I'll see if I come live for you guys. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but we'll see how it goes. You guys, thank you so much. Again, I'm so motivated by gratitude. So I just want to individually thank each person who's come on here. If you've asked a question, thank you. If you've come on here and you said, yo, Ben, thanks for being real. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for not bullshitting us and actually being honest with your answers. Dude, thank you so much for like expressing things. Thank you so much for the emails that I get. The people who've like, your business is growing because of me in any way. I just really wanted to say thank you. Thank you for letting me know that. It means the world to me. All right. I got things to do. I got stuff to do. But you guys, cheers. Good luck. Keep working hard. We'll talk soon, everybody. Bye.